Today we discuss a serious subject called attitude. Let us see what this attitude is all about. Attitude is a construct that represents an individual's like or dislike for an item. Attitudes are positive, negative, or neutral views of an attitude object, which can be a person, behavior, or an event. People can also be ambivalent towards a target, meaning that they simultaneously possess a positive and a negative bias towards the attitude in question. William James, the famous psychologist and philosopher, said that the greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. A positive attitude increases productivity. Great teamwork solves problems, improves quality, creates a congenial atmosphere. It breeds loyalty, increases profits, reduces stress. It helps a person become a contributing member of a team, company, family, and society, and helps one become an asset to their country. The result is a pleasing personality. Now let us see the consequences of negative attitude. Bitterness, resentment, that means experience of negative emotions like anger or hatred, a purposeless life, ill health, high stress level for himself and others. Negative attitude creates negative environment at work and home and becomes a liability to a society. Has anyone ever said to you that you got the wrong attitude or I don't like your attitude? When it happens, if your natural reaction is to act defensively or even in a hostile manner, it only fuels the fire to this accusation and confirms that you have got the wrong attitude. Did you know that negative thinking patterns also affect the health of the individual? Doctors now know that these emotions can be linked to almost every disease from common cold to cancer. People without a positive attitude are often drawn to external means to cure their depressions. Alcohol, drugs, food binges, shopping sprees, promiscuity and gambling and whatnot. Take the case of two best friends who started their career in national cricket and then international arena a few years back. Yes, we are talking about none other than Sachin Tendulkar and Vinod Kambli. Experts were and still are of the opinion that Kambli was the more talented person than Sachin. But look where each of them are now. Surprisingly, the more talented Kambli is nowhere to be seen, and Sachin is still creating cricketing history. It is the attitude that has brought out this scene. Sachin, with his dedication and commitment to the game, did not allow anything else to influence him or his game and went on to improve the same and thus created history and might keep on doing the same for a few more years. Kambli, with his wayward style and attitude, lost out in the run and no one knows what he is currently doing. A great example of what attitude can do for you. Going back to biblical sagas, David and Goliath, one of the best cases of attitude. When everyone else perceived Goliath as a mammoth giant who cannot be defeated, David saw him as a target that cannot be missed. And the shepherd boy defeated the giant and later went on to become the king of Jews. Building positive attitude is not an easy job. Regardless of our environment, education and experience, who is responsible for our attitude? We are responsible for our attitude. We have to accept responsibility sometime in our lives. We blame everyone and everything but ourselves. It is up to us to choose our attitude every morning. As adults, we need to accept responsibility for our behavior and actions. People with negative attitudes will blame the whole world, their co-workers, company, parents, teachers, spouse, the economy, and the government for their failures. You have to get away from the past. Dust yourself off, get back into the mainstream. Put your dreams together and move forward. Thinking of positive things that are true, honest, and good will put us in a positive state of mind. If we want to build and maintain a positive attitude, we need to consciously develop and practice the following. 1. Start by developing positive thinking. Begin and end your day with something positive. Say no to anything negative. Replay and reinforce what is right with you. Do not procrastinate. Start building a better self-esteem. Develop self-discipline. Learn to like what is to be done. Be thankful. Ditch the habit of complaining. Choose and read more books. Have a great game plan. Care less about opinion of others. Care more about reaching your goals. Perseverance is a diamond in the rough. Do not stop trying in trying times. Keep working when others quit. Expect the best of yourself and others too. Now let us get into a bit more complex subject called self-esteem, which is associated with attitude and influences a person's attitude. Self-esteem is the first key to finding happiness. Self-esteem is the cornerstone of success. It is the deep down feeling in your soul of your own self-worth. The type of work you do, your salary, or has actually very little to do with the joy of working. To quote John Milton, the famous English poet and author of Paradise Lost, nothing profits more than self-esteem, grounded on what is just and right. Healthy self-esteem is not narcissistic, self-indulgent, or arrogant. The word esteem is from Latin, meaning to value highly. It would be impossible to value another person without first feeling value for yourself. When you place value on your own work and efforts, you can begin to find the value in the work of others. Many successful people derive their self-esteem from their work. It is not always necessary that the world knows of your achievement. Nor does it really matter whether the result was a failure or success. What is important is that you have done your best. You gave the task at hand you everything. Have you ever said to yourself, I can't imagine myself being successful? I would like to, but I don't have the enough experience or the right education. I can't get ahead because I am too short, overweight, or my parents were poor. The truth is, most people talk themselves into failure and dejection. The result is fear of trying. They develop the habit of failure. It takes two forms. One, failure reinforcement, that is, the habit of looking back at past problems. The second problem is failure forecasting, the habit of imagining the worst in the future. Because they lack sufficient self-esteem to believe in the validity of their dreams, do not prepare for their achievement, and therefore are going down a dead-end street. No wonder so many people who work feel trapped. Failure becomes set in their self-images. Stay away from pity parties or gripe sessions. It may feel like worker solidarity, but it is actually climbing aboard a sinking ship. Surround yourself with people who enjoy their work. People with self-esteem seem to radiate it to others. You gain self-esteem and joy on the job by beginning each morning with the thought that you are a most valuable person. People with high self-esteem think positively. People with high self-esteem engage in self-esteem raising activities regularly. People with high self-esteem smile and laugh a lot. People with high self-esteem dare to challenge themselves and they dare to fail. People with high self-esteem have a burning desire to continuously grow. People with high self-esteem are interested in themselves. People with high self-esteem likes other people. They have a healthy lifestyle. People with high self-esteem expect the best to happen. Self-discipline is not self-denial or self-restriction. Self-discipline is synonymous with self-determination. It is perseverance in action. You have been the way you are for quite some time now. Your actions and reactions reinforce your present self-image daily. Your self-talk justifies who you are. Your thinking process and your behavior are crammed with daily habits. Some habits are positive, but some can be destructive and harmful. Work hard and work smart. Hard work is not fun, but the self-satisfaction one gets when a job is well done is pleasurable. Practice makes it perfect. Practice, 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 and when you are done practicing, practice some more. Everyone subconsciously practices every day. The trouble is that most of us spend our time practicing our bad habits rather than our good ones. We are relentless in our expertise at becoming accomplished losers. Rehearse in your mind. When mind talks, body listens. Discipline yourself to win. The famous painter Rembrandt once said, "Practice what you know and it will help to make clear what you do not know." Of course, I can do it. I have practiced this mentally 1,000 times. This should be your mantra on everything. Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts becomes your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive because your behavior becomes your habit. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. This was said none other than the great Mahatma Gandhi. Now let us see how we can bring happiness in your working place by being positive. Over a period of time, your attitude about your current job might not be as positive as it once was. However, if you are experiencing negative feelings about your work situation, you might be setting yourself up for disappointment, hurting your career or reputation. Negative attitudes reflect in all you do, and others can pick up on your negative feelings as well. For instance, are you afraid of getting up and going to work each day? When it is Monday, are you only looking towards the weekend afternoon? If you answered yes to either of these, it is time to change your way of thinking. Think about the positive aspects of your job. You owe it to yourself. Be grateful for the job you have. Develop friendships at work. Make it a point to say hello to your co-workers and maybe even go out and eat lunch together. Focus on your strengths. There are things at work you can excel at. You are the expert at those things and they are a reflection of your strength. Don't lose sight of these standout qualities. Focus on using these skills throughout your workday so you feel a sense of accomplishment when it is time to go home. Try implementing these steps into your life and see if your days improve. Also remember that attitude is contagious. Would you want someone to catch yours? If you see a friend or a co-worker without a smile, give him or her one of yours. Always be positive. You are in charge. You are in charge of your life. You are in control of your attitude. It is not your boss, your job, your parents, the situations that create your attitude. It is you. How you think and how you react is totally up to you. Looking for bad things to happen can actually make them happen. People with negative attitudes generally expect such situations as losing a job, bankruptcy, poor employee relations, unpleasant working conditions and failure. Pessimists expect to feel bad and get sick, so they do. On the other hand, reality-oriented positive thinking can influence us to overcome significant obstacles. If you really believe a goal can be reached, your attitude releases new energy that actually can help bring about the achievement of the goal. Whatever your objectives and goals are, the achievement of the same is set by your attitude. Positive or negative, true or false, right or wrong, self-enhancing or self-destroying. Your attitude creates the outcome according to your instructions, much like a computer printing out according to its inputs. Your attitude is a choice you make. As said before, attitude is infectious. We are not responsible for what happens out there, what others do think or act. We are responsible only for how we choose to respond. That's our attitude. The responsibility is ours. Attitude in work can be summarized by this wonderful story told by Edward Pulling, one of the greatest educators. A supervisor once went out to determine how laborers felt about their work. He went to a building site. He approached 3 workers and asked the same question. What are you doing? Don't you know? The first worker said angrily, I am cutting these granite boulders with primitive tools and putting them together the way the boss tells me. I know not for what reason. I am sweating under the blazing sun. It is back-breaking work and it is boring me to death. The second worker replied, I am shaping these boulders into usable forms so that they can be assembled according to the architect's plans. It is hard work and sometimes it gets repetitive, but I earn enough in a week that supports my wife and children. It's a job. It could be worse. The third worker replied, don't you see? As he lifted his arm to the sky, I am building a cathedral. Again, do you see how attitude plays the major role? Who do you think will become a successful mason among these 3? The first worker had only complaints on everything from his tools to the weather. Never understood the big picture of what he is doing. The second one was a bit better. He had a slightly better idea than the first one on the nature of his work. The third one understood his work completely and was dedicated in getting it done. Let us see positive attitude in action. Avoid pessimism. Misery loves company. The best way to remain optimistic is to associate with other positive thinkers. Stimulate the production of endorphins in your body by thinking positive thoughts. You'll be surprised how good you feel. With high endorphin levels, we feel less pain and fewer negative effects of stress. Don't be a grudge collector. Use instead your excellent mind and superior ability to self-image and create scenes of positive, pleasing emotions. Wake up happy. If the alarm sets your nerves jingling, wake up to music. Optimism is a learned attitude. Start thinking positively early on the day. Positive attitude in action makes one physically active, mentally alert, intellectually inspired, spiritually awakened, emotionally balanced, morally strengthened, and socially relevant. It also helps in building the 5 C's of success, which is character, commitment, conviction, courtesy, and courage. People who know the secret of positive attitude realize it's in their power to make today the best possible day. Thank you.